Imagine this, you have a new friend that just started Genshin Impact and he asks you this question. Who are the actual must-pick characters of the game? I know there's gonna be opinions that say Genshin Impact doesn't need must-have characters. The game is just fine with playing 4-star characters. There's enough players playing only 4-star characters and can do all the content in the game. Which is true, but I feel like there's so many factors when it comes to good characters, and for me as a long-time Genshin player, I always come back to these 4 characters. But before we come to these characters, I would encourage you guys to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like this content and you want to see more. I would really appreciate it since I'm trying to grow this channel, so thank you a lot. And I would also encourage you to use the comment section. Which characters do you guys think are the must-pick characters? Let me know. And I'm pretty sure the first character that I'm gonna show you now is probably a must-pick character for a lot of you guys as well. It is Kazuha. Now there's many reasons why I think he's a must-pick character. First of all, he's super fun to play, he's very useful in the open world, and he's adding so much value to your whole team. It's just ridiculous. Now I'm not gonna go through his whole kit, but he basically adds so much elemental damage to your team that it just feels like if you don't have him in your team, you just lack of power. Having him with a very discount Venera set that just adds so much damage already, combining this with his kit is just super good. And if you also have his signature weapon, this overall already super useful character becomes just ridiculously broken. And when it comes to must-pick characters, I also think about how I will use this character over a long period of time. So for me, since I play since over 3 years, this character has to be fun, not get boring, and needs to have some usefulness in the open world as well. And one other super important factor that I did not talk about yet is about how often you have to switch your team in Genshin Impact. And with Kazuha in your team, you barely have to swap him out. So yeah, this is my first must-have character. I wonder if you guys also think that way. And my second must-have character, let's just get right into it. It is Zhongli. You can say that almost every Archon in the game is a must-have character since they literally are on another level compared to other characters. Which makes sense, since they are gods. But yeah, having Zhongli in your team just makes your life way simpler. He has the strongest shield in the game and his damage is super good as well. And since he's also HP scaling, he's super easy to build. His E ability also decreases elemental resistance and physical resistance, which just adds another 20% of bonus damage in your team. Adding damage to your team, adding a super shield that basically makes you invincible in the game, having an old animation that literally summons a meteor and petrifies enemies and stuns them, gives you also some time to survive in very important situations. And I don't need to mention how much time you just save with using his elemental skill to pick up crystal ores. This also just saves you so much time and it just feels so comfortable having him in your team. And you don't need to swap him out at all. Having a team member that you don't have to swap out from time to time is just making your life way more comfortable. What a powerhouse. Speaking of powerhouse, let's come to the next character. And who's surprised again? It is another Archon. I mean, do I even need to mention how strong she is? Having a character that just marks up to 8 opponents with consistent Dendro application and damage is just super crazy. 200% of skill damage every 2.5 seconds is just ridiculous. And then there's also her burst ability, which also adds another increasing value for your team. She also adds elemental mastery of your active team member, and if you have her C2, it even gets more ridiculous, opening up the ability that Dendro cores can crit, and the already super broken character gets even more broken. So yeah, that's the Dendro Archon for you. You don't need to swap her out at all since she's synergizing with almost every element in the game. And overall, Dendro is the best element in the game as well, so you don't need to swap her out. She's also super comfortable to play. You just press E once, spin around, and then you can already swap her out to another character. Super convenient and she never gets boring. And having a character that can use her elemental skill to pick up flowers and materials that are far distant away is just another super useful factor for the open world. Definitely a must-pick character. Now, I would already say these 3 characters are already super great and you don't really need another really broken character, but hey, let's just make this whole video for our whole team, which I don't think this team in particular is really good, but I just think that Bennett is a must-have character. Everybody knows it. I don't really need to explain why, but I will anyways. Having a character that buffs up your damage and also has one of the best healing in the whole game is just super great. And until we get a replacement for him, he's gonna be one of the best characters in this game. You don't need a healer with him in your team. Now, he really doesn't add much for the open world, but I also think that he's just super comfortable to play, easy to build, and doesn't really get boring to play. So yeah, these are my 4 must-pick characters that I always come back to, and I just basically play these characters, or at least I have one of these characters always in my team. And now with a roster of over 70 characters to pick from, the game gets pretty chaotic, and I think maybe this video is also helping new players. I could also add some honorable mentions here. Yeimiko is a really good sub DPS. Raiden Shogun, one of the best DPS in the game, and you can't really go wrong with her since she's also an Archon and her numbers are just ridiculously scaled. I also think El Haytham is super fun to play and he just does so much damage. If you want a pyro character, go for Hu Tao until she gets power crept by someone else. Zhongli, in my opinion, still one of the best characters, but she's not really a must-have since everybody has her. And I also really love playing Ayaka. She's super fun to play, but maybe her damage numbers aren't on par to the compared Electro-Dendro combinations that you can do in Hyper Bloom, since Dendro Element kinda threw the balance of the game into the trash can. That's that. And since I'm a day 1 player, hey, maybe you can take my advice or maybe you can't. So yeah, this is your turn now. I wanna know, what do you guys think? Who are the must-pick characters for you? Who are the characters that you always come back to? And let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel and leave a thumbs up. Thank you for watching this far, and I hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.